Hey, I'm Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter, and you found the Sales Hunter podcast. What are we talking about today? Overcoming a lack of engagement. Hey, you know what? It really comes down to how you connect. I'm going to unpack that on today's episode of the Sales Hunter podcast.
You're listening to the Sales Hunter podcast with Mark Hunter, where the focus is to help you as a salesman sell with confidence and integrity. And now here's your host.
Hey, you can't close deals unless you got people to talk to, right? People to connect with. But a lack of engagement is driving so many salespeople crazy. Hey, I know I deal with it too. We all deal with it. Here, it comes down to how we connect. You see, there's three questions that I want you to ask yourself every day, every week. How many conversations are you having? Now, what I mean conversations, how many actual conversations, voice to voice, or minimally a rapid engagement, whether it be by way of text or email? Two, how many referrals are you giving each week? You see, what's very interesting is the number of referrals we give each week is ultimately comes back to being a direct reflection of how many referrals we get. Kind of amazing. And three, how many people are you thanking each week? Now you're going to think that's outside the box. But no, it's not outside the box because it does two things. First of all, when you take the time to thank people, it's amazing how they're thinking of you more often, more likely to get a referral. And two, it just puts you in a completely different light. Mentally, what does this mean? It means you actually understand, you hear, you listen, you process better because you're in a different frame of mind. Okay, now let's unpack these a little more because let me tell you something. The sale is made in the follow-up. When we talk about engagement, it's about connections and it's about really following up. And are we following up enough? I see too many salespeople. What they do is they send out one communication. They may send out a second one and then they stop. Let me tell you something. Customers are not engaging with us until we get down to 7, 8, 10, 12, 14 communications. Now, this isn't just, banging them every hour of every day. No, it's over a period of time. The period of time is going to depend upon what you sell. The more transactionally oriented you are, the more rapid those communications can be, the more it becomes a capital expenditure, a longer term expenditure, the more spread out and also the higher up you are in the organization in terms of who you're talking to, the more spread out your communications can be. But regardless, it still comes down to 8, 10, 12 conversations. I've got people that I've been reaching out to for 6 months, and I still don't have them converted, but I keep doing it. Here's the key though. The key is, what are you sending them? How are you staying in touch with them? Are you delivering them value? If all you're doing is saying buy, guess what? You're not going to have engagement. You're not going to have engagement until they wake up some morning and say, oh, I'm ready to buy. That's just not going to happen. I'm going to have to educate because why? Because there's a whole lot of other people out there trying to get them to buy. So I've got to be able to educate. And educate comes down to what are the benefits? And we've talked about this before, features and benefits, and it sounds lame. But I want you to look at your communication. I want you to look at what you're sending. And are you communicating nothing more than glorified features? You see, what's the outcome the customer's going to receive? This is where all of your messages have to be focused. I challenge myself every time when I'm sending out an email or I'm leaving a voicemail or something. I'm asking myself, is this going to be relevant to the person I'm sending it to? I'll be making some calls here today, as I do every day. And I always challenge myself to be focused on the outcome. And along with that, it's making sure the messages are different. Now, I've talked about this time and time again, but it blows me away the number of repetitive emails I get from salespeople because they're flat out lazy and they just believe if they send out enough emails, somebody's going to bite. Well, you're right. You can be. But you know what? That's not exactly doing anybody any good because why? A, you're never going to book enough sales to to fill your quota. That's not going to happen. 2, all you're doing is souring the marketplace on you completely. And 3, come on, get real. You're better than that. I want you to be focused on how does my information, how does whatever I share with you, however it goes, is it helping the customer become a better individual or business? One of the easiest things that I do, and I make a new one each week, I make a list. I just make a list of 5 or 10 items. I call it my 10 list because that's always my goal to get 10. 10 bullet points of something of importance that my prospects are going to value. And that's what I send. And what's very interesting is I send them a new one. And I've built up over the years quite a library of these. And I'm really formalizing the process now. I'm getting very, 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 very deliberate. But it gives me content that I can share at any time with various prospects, with various customers, because I can send it to both prospects. I can send it to customers who have fallen away. I can send it to customers who I just was never able to close. But because I've got this library of content available, it's amazing at how much faster I can send things out. Hey, my name is Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter. What is the Sales Hunter podcast all about? It's 2 podcasts a week. One, short one like this, giving you some tips and ideas. And the second one, a longer with a subject matter expert. Why? Because I want to help you see and achieve what you didn't think was possible, so you can help others see and achieve what they didn't think was possible. Hey, check out my other podcast, Sales Logic. That's the podcast I do each week with Meredith Elliott Powell. Got some great stuff we share that one. Hey, I'm Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter. Great selling.